Hey everybody, it is Cheri. I am the host of The Writing Glitch. I am here sitting next to Jonily Zupancic. It's been a while since we've been able to do this, and we are currently sitting in Texas recording this for you. And we want to kick off tonight the Emotional Kids Summit. And so what is the summit about? The summit is about those kids that are going back to school and they're so nervous about doing it that they just can't get through that, get past it. They can't do it. And so what are we going to do for them? How are we going to help them engage in their learning? And Jonily and I met back in 2018, and we discovered that we have this passion about these same kids, these kids that have this anxiety about learning. Mine has a little bit more about the writing, hence the writing glitch. Hers has a little bit more about the math because she's a math teacher. And, well, let's just say we put our positives together and we have something in store for you this month. So, Jonily, let's talk a little bit about how we met. And I think I'm going to start off telling this story a little bit, and then you can add your pieces to the puzzle.
Sounds good.
Because I think I was the first one that was approached in this whole thing. So we were both at a conference in Columbus, Ohio, where she lives, Miss Ohio State. She knows I am not necessarily an Ohio State fan, but I am a Jonily fan. So there we go. Anyway, so we were both at this conference, and before the conference, they were at the Barnes & Noble next door, and they were having the biggest book signing that the bookstore had ever had. 96 authors, I believe it was?
I think so.
96 authors were doing a little speech, using the microphone, doing their thing, telling a little bit about their book, and they had all of these 96 authors' books for sale. And Jonily's in the crowd. I didn't know her. I'm kind of standing back from the crowd because I'm a little on the claustrophobic side, so being in the midst of all those people I didn't know, yeah, I was a little intimidated. Let's just say it that way.
Which makes you a great host for this emotional summit because you have a lot of those emotional things and you understand what people need. So I just felt that connection right there when you were telling the story.
Yes. I've come a long way. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, I'm standing there and minding my own business, and this very dark complected,
handsome,
charismatic, that's the word I was looking for, man comes up to me and says, "Hey, Cheri." Well, he didn't know my name. He introduced himself. "Hey, what's your name? Tell me about it. What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm an upcoming author. I wanted to write a book, and so I'm here." "Oh, cool. It's great to have you. Are you coming to the conference?" Yeah. As we keep going on in the conversation, finds out a little bit about what my passion is, and he's like, "Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back." And I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, this man is dragulating, and I'm saying, and I put this right in the book, dragulating this one out of the audience. This poor girl can't stand on her feet. She looks like she's like 15. And I'm going, okay, what is coming my way? And this gentleman, his name is Dexter, says, "Cheri, meet Jonily. Jonily, meet Cheri. Hi, go, bye." And he was off. He was gone. How did he approach you?
He just ran over to me and grabbed me, and on the way, he said, "I have somebody that you need to meet." And it was really kind of this organic, connection we initially both had. And then we spent the next, I don't know how many hours until closing time in Starbucks. There was the Starbucks and the Barnes and Noble, and we sat and got to know each other and realized that our skill sets really complemented each other.
And all of a sudden, we were realizing that we were missing supper.
Yeah, yes, we did.
Supper was over at the hotel next door, and we realized that they were serving without us. So I'm not sure how much you got to eat that night. I didn't get to eat much.
No.
So anyway, that's a little bit about how we met. But what happened after that is where the power comes from. The power comes from the fact that we've decided, we'll meet monthly. That wasn't enough. We'll meet twice a month. That wasn't enough. We'll meet weekly. And now, if I don't have my Jonily fix every week, I'll tell you what, I feel like I go through Jonily withdrawal.
Oh, sweet.
Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
It really gets confusing when we miss a week, doesn't it?
Well, and especially with all of the projects and all the missions and the visions that when our worlds collided, created. Yeah. And so I feel like it's a daily step-by-step to try to get to the movement that we're both trying to create together.
So talk a little bit about that movement, because I've been talking a lot.
You know, the movement is really unique because Cheri, as an occupational therapist and neuroscience expert, and coming from the medical background, the diagnoses background for adults and kids that have disconnects, as we're talking about this upcoming book, Math DYSconnected, she has that world. My world is educator. I actually have a math degree, got my teaching license a little bit later. So very mathematical, educational. I've been in the education world for 20 plus years. And with the mathematical education world and what Cheri is bringing to you this month during this summit, you're going to get an opportunity to see how those worlds have come together so that we can better serve kids.
And Wednesday, we're recording this on a Monday night. On Wednesday, we are speaking at the Better Together conference in Plano, Texas. And I really believe that we are better together.
Better together, yes, absolutely.
And every time I try to do a presentation without you, I feel like I'm missing something.
Well, we will be together on Wednesday, and we're very excited about it. We are speaking at the Dyslexia Institute and really talking about our mission together and showing concrete, practical steps for how to help these students.
Mm-hmm. So what the plan is for the next couple weeks is to bring you an episode of the Emotional Kids Summit, Monday through Friday, from August 1st to August 31st. No Saturdays, no Sundays. Normally, the podcast is twice a month, the second and fourth Tuesday. Normally, I don't do any video. But for this event, I am, one, doing video, and two, we are doing the first, the second, the third, the fourth, because there's only 4 days in that week, and then the last week there's only 4 days, just because of the way the week pans out. But every Friday, you and I are going to talk about the book. So I have scheduled to do, I think Holly is first.
Excellent.
And Holly is, well, the kids are in 7th grade in the book, but we meet Holly before that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other characters is Brian. Third character is Tanisha.
Mm-hmm.
And our fourth character is their teacher, Mr. Grabner. So I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit more about what Holly and Brian and Tanisha, Mr. Grabner, are feeling themselves, what they're feeling about math and writing, and really looking at what we can do as clinicians, as teachers, as parents, to help support them. Plus, we have Monday through Thursday except for the first Monday, which is the 31st of July, and then the last one, which is September 1st. So, we'll skip those. But every other Monday through Thursday, there's another expert that's coming on to talk to you about something that's happening inside their world. So we have the transformational teacher. We have the anxious child podcast host. We have another anxious child podcast host. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting exactly what his is called. Oh, this is horrible. I can't remember what they're called all the time.
But a lot in store for the people that are part of the summit.
And we have another math teacher, not just you, but we have another math teacher. We have a special ed teacher who teaches the deaf. We have another special ed teacher who signs for the deaf. We have isn't that very pretty cool? We have two deaf teachers involved in this book. And they are actually involved in the book, and you're going to hear more about that as the month goes on. And let's see, who else was in there? I'm missing something. Oh, we have a couple OTs. One of them teaches about assistive technologies. Another one teaches about trauma.
Excellent.
And we have a horse therapist that's talking about writing, not riding, R-I-D-I-N-G, but writing, W-R-I-T-I-N-G. And it's been very interesting looking at the connections with those tasks that we have to complete, those occupations for us that are OTs, and those emotions that go with it and how we can work on solving them.
And how those emotions are, negative emotions are the barrier to student learning in the classrooms. Yes. And us as teachers, educators, even special ed teachers, oftentimes are not trained deeply in what's happening in the brain and the body, physically, emotionally, mentally, to help support these students so that learning can actually take place.
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about the Emotional Kids Summit, you can go to my website, which is cheri.orr.com/emotional-kids-summit. And when you go on there, there'll be two things that you can do. One of them is to find your favorite podcast app. The second thing is to join the companion course. Inside that companion course, every single one of these experts is sharing something extra other than just the conversation with me. So it's been a real true blessing to be part of this adventure with them. And it's been really wonderful seeing some of the things that are happening out in this world. I'll tell you what, I felt like I went through an entire month of therapy preparing for this summit. And you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear when I was touched. You're also going to hear a lot more about my kids, because every single time one of those experts was talking, they made me think of raising my own kids who are now adults. So, and just so that you know, when I say kids could be 80 years old. They are not just K-2 kids. They're every age. So before we close, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to mindsonmath.com. We are all about creating metacognition and thinking, helping kids learn how to think and not what to think, and making mathematics accessible to all students, and not just mathematics, but education in general. So mindsonmath.com, and I'm Jonily, Jonily, Jonily.com as well.
Beautiful. So welcome to this kickoff event for this particular month of August, and have a wonderful back to school.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, it's my birthday month. That's another thing. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today.